Well, thank you everyone for joining us for this session on leveraging technology to expand your MSP services and revenues. We got quite a few folks that have joined the session. Obviously, a lot of interest in this subject, with certainly because of many of the new compliance and security issues that are going on for every company out there. My name is Tom Leahy. I'm the head of sales and business development with SureShield. I have colleagues who are also joining me to help answer questions at the end of the session. Between myself and the founders of the company, we have about 70 years of compliance and risk and security backgrounds, and really appreciate you joining the session today. So we're going to start, and we've kind of already started with the introduction. We're going to talk a little bit about the state of the MSP market. It's continuing to grow, and for those of you who are serving in it, it's a good time to be in this business. We'll talk a little bit about some of the compliance and security trends that are taking place, challenges that we see, and why people come to our company and scaling the business. It's not, again, it's a good problem to have, but challenges to being able to expand and offer more services, and then how technology can be used to help acquire more clients. We'll give you a brief overview of the SureShield MSP platform, and then go ahead and answer any questions that any of you may seem to have. So let's go ahead and get started. As many of you probably know, the security marketplace continues to grow. We're seeing almost daily issues of new cybercrime and ransomware attacks and the likes, to the tune of already just this year, the projections are over $6 trillion in annual costs. The compliance marketplace, in terms of dealing and having to work with issues around compliance, is expected to reach about $38 billion this year. And more companies are really taking serious focus on this, more so because there's more and more issues and attacks that are being experienced by companies of every given shape and size. And so with that, the purchases for tools to help in that is growing over by a 30% clip. And there's, of course, a lot of new government mandates, compliance mandates coming, like the 889B, which we'll talk about briefly, the CMMC areas, and all this will continue to grow. And the market itself is expected to continue to grow at about a 15% clip year after year for the next 5 years. So great opportunities, as you know, for companies that are servicing in this area. What are some of the opportunities that are out there today? There's obviously, as we see, this growing surge of security breaches and hacks, and needs to solve or have tools to help solve those problems. There's a shortage in talent, and why services like yours are so important is there's just a lot of these companies don't have the resources or the people that can help them manage this, I guess, independently. And so there's a great and growing need for more companies that can provide that. As we talked about, the compliance requirements continue to grow. So a whole bunch of new mandates that people need to make sure that they have in place. The industry, we're seeing more and more, is moving from a more passive protection to active detection and risk, and they have to, because there's continually new vulnerabilities that are being introduced into these environments all the time. And it's difficult to find structured solutions that can address several different areas of compliance and security. So there's a big gap in the marketplace, and which brings on a big opportunity to offer services. And a lot of this is initially driven by the compliance drivers, meaning new government or industry-specific compliance regulations that are being brought in, and the need to do this not just in a stagnant manner. There's a need for continuous risk assessments and self-assessments. And this is just, highlighting some of those areas of compliance. You have NIST and CMMC, you have HIPAA if you're in healthcare, and CMS and the OIG, ISO. There's state breach laws that have to be complied with. There's a GDPR compliance issues. There's PCI credit card issues, and the 889B and 889 related to impacting really any company that has even a remote amount of business with the government, even if it's a very, very small part of what you do. You have to comply with this, and this is that initiative that relates to making sure that companies or your downstream vendors are not working with any banned or prohibited telecommunication companies, which are primarily Chinese related ones. So, the cost of a security breach, and this number is probably even going up more, but the average cost is over $4 million. And we have seen over the course of the last just few months, the types of attacks that are being orchestrated by foreign nationals are being orchestrated in areas and protected by foreign nationals. You've had them, obviously, the meat ransomware attack. We had the issues with Colonial Gas Lines. And these are not just, they have economic impact and they have security impacts, and they are continuing to grow. So there's a greater focus and attention overall in making sure that there is a proactive nature to providing security. And as we stated earlier, a lot of that then, because of the lack of resources, companies are turning to companies like yours to offer these types of services. And there's a challenge to that because oftentimes even in the opportunities outweigh the ability to actually service those. But they do open up a lot of new opportunities for companies to provide a variety of different services. There's, security as a service. There's vulnerability management and oversight. There's ability to do more compliance related, not just stagnant, but ongoing compliance as a service. There's dark web monitoring and credentialing that needs to be done. There's third parties that are servicing customers that have to be looked at, and risk management solutions put in place. And then there's what we would call integrity monitoring. Integrity from the standpoint of making sure that the providers that an organization is working with are allowed to do that. And how we help with this is leveraging technology that we provide under the auspices of the SureShield platform that allow our companies to address a variety of different things and do it in a more automated fashion. Some of these you may be doing now, but looking for technology solutions that can make it more efficient and allow you to offer more services to the clients that you're servicing. And I'm going to just touch briefly on what some of those solutions are that we have, and I'm going to show you how they're managed in what we call the Partner Shield platform. So we have an offering called the Comply Shield. It allows you to do automated assessments of any type of compliance framework, NIST, CMMC, HIPAA, whatever ones that you may want or your customers may need to do. You can leverage the Comply Shield framework and conduct those assessments, as well as invite others within your ecosystem to participate in those. We have Security Shield, which is a continuous vulnerability scanning and remediation and gap analysis tool, all cloud enabled, again, to help very quickly identify where the most significant risks are for a client and being able to attack those. We have a Hack Shield offering. This particular solution allows you to identify very rapidly any exposed, critical, protected, perhaps data, and not only identify where that is, but then write rules that can allow you to put protection on that, which includes encryption, prevention from it being moved if it's moving somewhere it should not. Our Breach Shield offering is a dark web monitoring tool and remediation tool. It can help you see where exposures already are and then give you advice on how to reduce those exposures. And then we have two other solutions, our Vendor Shield, which is a vendor oversight and risk management tool, and our Integrity Shield that allows you to do sanctions, exclusions, license checks, the 889B coverage and exposure. And as I mentioned, this all comes through the SureShield self-service platform. For the MSPs that are working with us, they have their own custom white labeled solution that is provided to them. And if you're a distributor with multiple MSPs or just an MSP yourself, we have the structured hierarchy that allows you to very simply set up and invite the partners or clients into the solution that you're offering. We have tools that will allow you to actually very easily begin the services that you are going to be offering to them. And in this diagram kind of gives you an overview of the basics of what those are: our compliance solutions, our data security solutions, our third-party risk solutions, and then underneath those is the product offerings, what those products do. And as we've mentioned, or I may have mentioned earlier, just for those of you who are participating, we will be sending this information out to you at the end of the session as well. So I'm going to go ahead and very briefly provide a product demonstration for you to show you how those, and we have many partners who are leveraging the Partner Shield platform provided by us to service and provide services for their clients. I'm going to exit here for a second and open up our SureShield Partner Shield platform. Of course, this one is branded towards us, but if it was yours, it would have your logo and in your white labeled version of this. So I'm going to sign in to the portal. And first of all, what you will see are any kind of alerts that I might have in a dashboard fashion for different things that I need to maybe take action on with the client. But just to show you how simple it is to manage your clients, I just go to Tools. And if I were to say Manage Customers, you will see it will give you a view of all the customers that you may have activated in your own environment. You can choose, for instance, to pick those customers and maybe add new services to those customers, or go ahead and even go through the process of adding a new customer itself. So if I had just had someone that I was going to sign up, all I really have to do is click here, begin to type in the information on that customer. And I won't go through all the screens. I would invite someone as a default admin for that. And then more importantly, when I get to the end, you'll see it would allow me to pick any of the modules within each one of those areas and solutions by just basically a click and drag process. So anytime I've done this, what I'm activating for each client are the different types of services. So you can see if I look at my Comply Shield, we have literally, I think, close to 50 different frameworks that can be activated for various types of compliance audits that you may need to do. And again, it's as simple as a click of a button and a drag over to activate the different types of services for the clients. And I'm going to stop there and not go ahead and activate these, but just to point out how simple it is to manage your clients, to set up new services for them. And then if I'm actually wanting to go look at one in particular, as you can see, I can either go directly through them here, or I could start to type in a name of that client, and I'm going to go pick the Stanley Aeronautics as an example. And I can then go in, when I'm on there, it's going to show me the apps that have been activated for that particular client. So you'll of course have that within your own portal management area, but you can actually go into those individual clients as well and look at the different product offerings they have. And in this case, this particular client has activated their Comply Shield product, the Security Shield Manager product, the Breach Shield, and the Hack Shield tools. So it's very simple for them to just click and go in. And in the case of this client, they've activated, they're a government-related client. So I believe in this case, they're just looking at things related to DoD government-related compliance. If I were to click into the controls areas here, it's going to show me those different compliance. You can see I've got a CMMC and a NIST 171 compliance audit going on. I can click and even filter by these particular frameworks. And then I can even invite, if I were going in to look at these, I can actually go in and very quickly answer the questions. All of this rolling up into reports that will come out of the system for you that can be shared. I can even do things like, let's say I wanted to take a list of these and ask someone else to go ahead and update those responses or request them to respond, and then shoot that out to those folks, and it will allow them to go ahead and answer questions on our behalf as well. So it's allows you to distribute work around this, all at the click of a button. You can see within this, again, I'm also using things like my Security Shield Manager, where it's giving me a understanding of what hosts might have some particular issues, my software assets that may have issues, the vulnerabilities that I may have, the remediations that may need to be done. And again, if I were to click into any one of these, it's going to show me what those issues are. It's going to tell me how to address them. It's also going to give me information on how long it's going to take to address them. And again, you can see you could filter on in any form or fashion that you would like to over here. And again, if I were to click here, it's just going to take me into that particular, and I don't have one right here as far as, but it's showing me what the vulnerabilities are, and it would also be telling me how to address those. Are the other two solutions for this client? Sorry, let me get back here, and we'll go back to Stanley. Yeah. And the apps that have been activated are the Breach Shield. So this is the one that allows me to actually go and see what particular vulnerabilities I may have, what compromised credentials we may have here, what those are, how to address those, and our Hack Shield Manager that actually is identifying for me the different types of sensitive data that I may have, where that exists, what devices that exists on, and again, as I mentioned, ways in which I can go ahead and take action on remediating issues or preventing data from being able to be moved in those environments. So within all of these as well, you get an abundance of different types of reports that can be leveraged for you to share with your clients. And again, depending on how you're managing those clients, you can control this yourself and have that be what I would call an extra level of service and support that you provide to them. Or, you can also share this information with them as well. So in the instance of, let's say, those vulnerability reports, there's a variety of different things that are available. There's over 30 different reports, I believe, that are available here, close to 30. And things like my top remediation reports. Anytime that you have issues, as you know, you're never going to just not have any. Hopefully, knock on wood, that would be great, but it's usually not the case. You want to know what are the most important things that need to be addressed to help provide the greatest amount of risk mitigation. So in this case, I've picked my top remediation suggestion reports. I can click into this and run that report. These all can be scheduled. So if you want to schedule this to come out on a regular basis, you can determine that, not only that, but who you want it to go to. You can download it in Word, you can export it into Excel, you can generate PDFs if you want to use that or into PowerPoint if you want to use that for other types of presentations that you're maybe doing. And in this case, you can see I'm getting a summary for this particular group on the top 20 remediation suggestions. How many of those are critical, what levels they are, what the vulnerabilities and severity are of those, and then the solutions. So for instance, in this case, if I were to apply all of these remediations to the 23 host assets that are affected, I'm going to reduce, 91%. I'm going to mitigate almost 93% of my vulnerabilities. And the neat thing here as well is it will also show you how that's been progressing over time. So you'll notice I scroll here, it's showing me how things have changed over time as I've gone and continuously provided that service. And again, one of the beauties of solutions is this gives you more of an opportunity to be a continuous service provider as opposed to what you might say are projects that end and then don't get re-implemented until a later date. So it gives an opportunity to provide more of a continuous security practice and compliance practice for your organization. And again, when it comes to reports, I've just gone into a few. You've got system administration reports that will allow you to get an overview of all your clients, your billings for those clients. If I were to go into things like my compliance reports, if any of you are working on the government side, we've even got reports that are specific to things like the NIST assessments that need to be done and the scoring that needs to be done. Again, can be run at any given point in time, and it will dynamically change based upon the endpoint time that I've run that particular report. So, as I mentioned, a lot of companies are coming to us to help them in ways to allow, leveraging our technology to expand the offerings. So there may be offerings that we have in our solution that you currently are not providing and now would be able to do so. It certainly also allows folks that have these types of solutions in place to be able to service more clients because of the efficiencies that come with running under the SureShield solution portfolio. I'm going to just come back to the presentation, and that was just a brief overview of our SureShield PartnerShield platform. Some of the benefits, as we've already talked about, it's all self-service, so it's easy for you to start. You can manage all your clients in one environment. You can activate a new service or a new service offering or a new framework. So for instance, with compliance, you could have a customer that's doing HIPAA, and now they need to also, because they're servicing the government or the Department of Defense, they need to do CMMC or NIST-related audits. Very simple and easy to turn that on. We provide, as I said, workflow automations, and then also alerts and notifications. So if things change with the client, the portal will also allow and provide notifications to you to let you know of actions that have taken place so that you can more quickly address those and manage that client environment. And then the reports, of course, give a lot of insight as to in comparative analytics that can be provided. Again, depending upon how you choose to do that, you can control that within our environment yourself and make those reports available, I would say, statically. Or you can even invite, as we said, your clients in to be participants in the platform and give them that information very easily themselves, again, helping provide a means to do more continuous servicing. with them. So just to summarize, again, obviously, because you folks are here, you're aware of how significant this market is expanding. If you're new to it, there's an abundance of opportunity. If you've been in it, you're seeing that there's just a lot of new things that can be provided, and a higher and continuing to be a higher demand for these in lieu of a lot of the things that we're seeing taking place. And because of the era of digitization, more and more people are taking advantage of that in a negative manner. And as a result, more investment is being made to try to prevent those, and there's more focus from external agencies to make sure that we're all complying with those requirements. And we can help you in terms of scaling and taking on more customers, expanding your offerings, and even doing things that can provide you a more predictable and regular recurring revenue stream. So if you're interested, we provide, a white label activated portal for you. We can get a demo set up for you, for those of you that may have interest in learning more. You can contact us, at info@SureShield, or visit the website to get started. And with that, let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and take on some of the questions. We're just finishing up the presentation, and then let me address a few questions that may be coming, and then hopefully I've bought you back some of your valuable time for this presentation today. Okay, so one of the questions is, do I have to take every service offering from SureShield? And the answer is no. I mean, that's what makes it so nice, is you can, when we turn you on, we will turn on what particular areas you have interest in. We have, companies that are just doing compliance related stuff and aren't doing what I would call vulnerability management stuff. So in terms of activating, we activate based upon what it is that you want. And the nice thing there is, if you decide later to add other services, it's just simply a notification, and we turn on and activate those. And the same goes for you in terms of activating the clients that you're working with. So you'll have access to the different modules. If you turn those on, and let's say you want to start doing what we'll call it integrity management, it's simply identifying the client, activating what it is you want for those clients, and then we have a whole, what I would call, self-service process in place that will inform us of those that have been activated, and we'll adjust, from a pricing in terms of how we charge for those services. We'll know how to take that back to you or to the client that you're servicing. Okay, other questions? How are things priced? Good question. First of all, as a partner, we have different, what we would call, tiers of partnership, and all that is based upon the amount of services that you're rendering. So our partners are provided with a suggested retail price that, of course, can be marked up, and then the discounts that go to the partners for those modules can go from as low as 20% to as high as 35%. If there's even higher levels of use, those numbers can potentially even go up beyond that as well. And then we provide, so basically think about it, at the lowest level, you're getting a 20% markup automatically. You can, of course, mark that up even higher if you'd like, to the clients that you are working with. And again, all in a, what I would call, a self-service automated fashion. I think I've got one more question here. And we issue you a partnership program agreement that outlines the terms of the service, and turn it on and you're ready to go. There's a question about, am I able to do trials? So the answer is yes. When we activate your partner portal, you're also able to have activate trial versions for your clients as well. So if you have someone that you are working on and they want to get a kind of sneak peek, you're able to do that for a certain period of time where you can give them trial periods, and then after that, that would trigger, and assuming that they're going to want to continue on, um, the paid version of that, so you don't lose any data that they may have used in the trial period. It just turns on as new use for you. Okay, so it looks like that is, I don't see any other questions. Nope. So we want to thank you all for participating. Again, if you are interested in getting started, just reach out to us. We will be following up this presentation with the content of the presentation as long as a recording. And we will hopefully look forward to getting you started, as we have many, many, many partners of ours. So with that, again, want to thank everyone for their time, and we will look forward to chatting with you and getting you started here shortly. All the best, and thanks for joining.